What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Lit Fam. Now today we got SpongeBob creepiest episode finally solved by Sponge Truth. Now as you guys know, SpongeBob, I always say, is my favorite cartoon of all time, bro. So I always like to watch videos that are on it, especially when it's like creepy things or things that expose certain messages in the show. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out. So without further ado, make sure to grab your popcorn and let's see.
SpongeBob had a unique identity, a show that can go from lighthearted and hilarious to completely off the wall, surreal in the blink of an eye. And there's one episode
that is kind of facts, bro.
That has been misunderstood.
That's why I like it though, because there's always a good variety of shows in SpongeBob. Like it's not always the same giddy every time, every episode, bro. Like it can get serious, it can really teach real life lessons and stuff. So that's why I like it.
For over a decade, this is Spongehenge, an episode so ambiguously creepy that fans skip it while watching. But what if Spongehenge is more than just another creepy outlier? What if, buried underneath the weird visuals and unsettling tone, there's actually something deeply meaningful going on? Something intentional.
I'm gonna see if I remember this episode, chat.
I've rewatched this episode more times than I'd like to admit.
Tell me if you guys remember.
Every season looking for patterns, callbacks, and context, and I finally solved the mystery of SpongeBob's weirdest episode. Not only did it change my views on the episode, it changed my vision about the legacy of SpongeBob as a character and as a show.
Okay, now I'm really
interested.
interested.
Into what Spongehenge actually means, first we need to break down what actually happens in the episode.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I remember. I gotta see.
Something simple.
Okay.
Wind. The episode opens with Bikini Bottom getting hit by an unusually strong
Is it me, or I feel like a lot of episodes start like this?
Two fish leave a diner with takeout, talking about how rough the weather is. Oh no, Neptune must be mad at something. Nah, it's Poseidon. Everyone knows he's the real ruler.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember this.
It's a dumb background.
Yo, this shorty was always outside just naked, bro. Like, if you think about it, it's windy as hell. It's probably like negative 40 degrees. You guys are underwater and you got a bikini on, bro. Like, get your freaking
joke. But it's the seed. Because the wind gets worse. The wind snatches their food, yeets it across the city.
It's about to snatch her skirt, too. She about to be really naked.
And smacks SpongeBob right in the face while he's sleeping. SpongeBob wakes up.
Yeah, at least he got free food for the day. You know what I'm saying?
Up, noticing that it was a goulash, and comes up to the windows hoping to find the owner. But then it happens. A gust hits him, blows through his holes, and makes this strange...
Through his holes? Hold on now.
Hollow, haunting sound.
Oh, okay.
This is the first sign that something's off. Longtime fans know this isn't normal SpongeBob sound design. The show rarely, if ever, uses tones like this.
Facts. The show rarely ever goes in his holes like that. Like, that doesn't just happen, Norm. We don't just violate each other's holes.
It sounds similar to an ocarina, maybe even a flute. Definitely not Hawaiian ukulele background music. It's eerie. It lingers. But the jellyfish?
I never noticed that, chat. Did you guys notice that in that episode?
They're vibing. They swarm to SpongeBob like he's a walking Spotify playlist. Dancing, twirling, even floating inside him like it's a jellyfish mosh pit.
Nah, I love Spotify playlists though, bro. It's way better than Apple Music. If you guys know, you know, bro. Like Spotify actually like will match songs that really go with the song that you're trying to construct the playlist off of.
Morning came, it only attracted more jellyfish towards SpongeBob. They block him from going anywhere.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember.
Good vibes. Eventually, Krabs helps him to get on Krusty Krab by dragging him with a fish hook. But he doesn't stay long.
Imagine that's how your boss wakes you up in the morning, bro. You just get a fish hook to your ass and you just get dragged to work. Like, I do not get paid enough for this, man.
Fish return. The wind gets worse, and the Krusty Krab, gone, launched into the air like it owed someone money. SpongeBob crash lands at Patrick's house. Patrick, being a real friend,
bro, that's a hurricane at that point, right? Like a bad one.
Him in for about 5 seconds until he gets stung and blames SpongeBob for being a negative influence. Okay, thanks, bro. So SpongeBob runs.
Yo, Patrick, you're literally in a rock every day, bro. If there's any negative influences, yo, fat ass.
Into a cave. Deep, remote, windless, silent. Just him and lots of rock. And here's where it gets dark. SpongeBob doesn't just hide. He unravels. He starts talking to rocks, laughing to himself, growing this wild, scruffy wizard
so he starts going crazy.
He's been in there way too long.
I ain't gonna lie, this kind of fits SpongeBob, bro. Like, hey, but you do look like goddamn hobo.
Then he builds a statue, a stone replica of himself, not for decoration.
Oh yeah, I remember this for sure.
To talk to have tea with.
And then he like kept building more, and then there's like a big one. Yeah, I remember this.
When the wind hits the statue, it makes the same sound. The jellyfish return. They hear it, and SpongeBob gets an idea. He starts building, not one, but dozens of massive stone versions of himself, placed in a circle, each one tuned to catch the wind just right. It's basically Spongehenge, now in surround sound. He's no longer trying to escape the problem, he's trying to control it, perfect it, recreate the sound, make it permanent. And it works. The jellyfish finally stop swarming him. The music is enough. And for the first time in who knows how long, SpongeBob is free. So he returns to Bikini Bottom.
Bro, he gotta get a fresh cut now. Say, hey, let me line you up, Sponge. I got you, nigga. I got you. Let me line your shit up. You might be bald by the time you get out, but it's okay.
Expecting home. But instead, nothing.
What?
Everything is gone. The world moved on without him, and he's left by himself. He gave everything.
Wow.
His time, his sanity, his identity, to create something he thought mattered. Something perfect. But when he came back, there was nothing left to come back to. Skipping forward 3,000 years,
damn,
the aliens are here, staring at the Stonehenge, trying to
figure
out
I definitely
who built
remember
them
this.
And why. And that's the end of the episode. No
So I guess that's like a kind of a message on time. You know what I'm saying? You can't waste time in the world because it just keeps going without you or not, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't waste time. That's kind of the message I get from it, but let's see what he says.
Jokes, no payoff. Just an eerie wind and maniacal laughs. That is an ambiguous ending, and pretty dark, I think. This is also not a regular ending for SpongeBob episodes. Normally, the episode would follow a 3-act structure with resolution at the end. But this episode had no resolution whatsoever.
Wait, is that me or is that the video?
But this episode
it's just a video
had no resolution whatsoever.
It's fine, I can still hear.
Only that eerie laugh. Spongehenge ends with no answers and 1,000 questions. How long was SpongeBob in the cave? Why is it still windy after 3,000 years? What happened to all the Bikini Bottomites?
Oh, say there's been like a hurricane for how many years, bro? Like at some point it's supposed to stop.
The ending gives you nothing. No punchline, no visual clues, just silence.
Now that I think about it, that episode did end pretty abruptly, bro. Like now that I really think about it, like looking back as a kid, that was kind of a weird episode.
For a lot of viewers, that was the problem. Some fans hated it for the ambiguity. Others said it didn't even feel like a SpongeBob episode. From the opening scene, the tone is off. No goofy humor, no ukulele strumming in the background.
Yeah, it kind of was a serious episode, huh?
It's eerie, unfamiliar, and
that's one thing I will say about SpongeBob, and I do kind of understand why parents like get a little turned off by it, because there is like the episodes like this and a couple other creepy ones and stuff that it does get a little like, okay, it's a little weird, but for the most part, bro, it's honestly a really good show. So
it's intentional,
but it does have these weird ones.
This episode is just SpongeBob dealing with jellyfish trouble. But dig a little deeper, and it starts feeling like a metaphor for obsession, isolation, maybe even madness. SpongeBob doesn't solve a problem, he gets consumed by it. He spends who knows how long building stone versions of himself just to keep the music going, perfecting the way they sing in the wind. And when he finally returns home, everyone's gone. The Krusty Krab is a ruin, Bikini Bottom is empty. All he has left are the jellyfish, still dancing to a sound that isn't even coming from him anymore.
Like spending all your time on an obsession, getting obsessed with something that's not worth your time. I mean, obsession is really bad in any way you put it, but like obsession could be used in a good way. Like for myself, I'm obsessed with uploading YouTube videos. I'm obsessed, you know, being successful and eventually venturing out to business things and stuff. So that's like a good obsession, but it also can get too much. You know what I'm saying? You got to find a balance to your obsessions, because everybody has them. As long as you learn how to balance that with your life and stuff, you should be good, man, because a little obsession goes a long way, because you really need that drive to get something done, but you can't let it completely consume your life, and that's all that matters and all that is in your world. You know what I'm saying?
He became a monument to his own art, a ghost conducting music for no one. When Spongehenge first aired, no one knew what to make of it. Some fans called it brilliant, others thought it was creepy, dark, even depressing. A lot of people just wrote it off as random nonsense. But the older you get, the harder it is to shake off. You start to ask yourself, what was this episode really trying to say? Spongehenge leaves a gap just wide enough for interpretation. Since this episode was aired, a lot of people have already constructed a lot of good theories. And by using every single one of those theories, I was finally able to solve the true meaning behind the episode. The first theory is that the whole episode is a joke about ancient monuments. The title is an obvious reference to Stonehenge, the mysterious monument that's inspired
All I can think about when I see like these stones and stuff is that stupid emoji you guys use when it's like, you guys know what I'm saying?
Of speculation. Historians write books about it. Tourists take selfies in front of it. No one really knows what it means, so we project meaning onto it. Spongehenge is just that, a long joke about meaningless monuments. SpongeBob builds giant stone versions of himself. 3,000 years later, aliens find them and wonder what they meant. A gag about how we treat the unknowable as sacred. And yeah, that could be it. But
yeah, that could be it too. I could see that being an explanation, but I feel like it's open for interpretation to whatever you perceive it to be.
It's a joke. Where's the punchline? The episode doesn't end with a satisfying laugh. It ends with a laugh that feels wrong. That's the first red flag. This episode starts like a joke and ends like a warning. Now, let's go one layer deeper. Some fans believe this wasn't just about jellyfish or monuments. It was about the people behind the show. Spongehenge was episode 99B, the end of season 5, right before the show's tone and
how many seasons are in SpongeBob? Does anybody know? Can you guys let me know how many seasons are in SpongeBob?
Quality took a sharp dive. Most of the original creative team, including Steven Hillenburg, had already stepped away by then. So what if this was their last hurrah? The true ending of SpongeBob? A final, weird, beautiful, unfiltered piece of storytelling before the studio took full control.
I mean, that would be a very sad episode to just end things on.
The silence makes more sense. The weird tone, the somber pacing, the lack of resolution. It's not a glitch, it's intentional. It's the sound of the creators letting go. Then again, as we all know, the shows didn't stop there.
Yeah, they didn't stop,
going
so...
with season 6. But what if this episode wasn't just about SpongeBob or art? What if it was about faith? Because there's one more theory, one that feels spiritual, almost biblical. It starts with a throwaway line early in the episode. Two background fish argue. Neptune must be mad.
Oh yeah, when they talk about that.
Everyone knows that. They laugh and move on. But if you're paying attention, that line is the key to everything. Because if the storm isn't natural, if the wind isn't random...
I mean, this storm does not seem natural at all, bro. Especially if it's been going on for fucking like 3,000 years.
Someone, or something, sent it. An eternal storm. Jellyfish hypnotized, a town emptied. This isn't just weather. It's judgment. Or even worse,
it could
abandonment. It's damnation sent by the gods themselves for the people of Bikini Bottom. Because they're forgetting who their supreme ruler is. But which gods? Technically, both Neptune and Poseidon are sea gods. Neptune's from Roman mythology, Poseidon's Greek. And the show has played with both, sort of. But since the very beginning of the show...
There is a lot, now that I think about it, there's kind of a lot of godly figures in SpongeBob. Because it's like that green guy, and then the other green guy, the ghost. Davy Jones, something like that, I don't know.
Oh, we have never heard Poseidon's name mentioned up until this episode. Sure, he was later making appearances in the movie Sponge on the Run, but that movie is so isolated from the main series.
Yeah,
practically
that movie was hella weird, bro. I didn't like
no ties with Bikini Bottom. Even
you guys watch that movie?
He's not some all-powerful being. He's obsessed with skincare and bath bombs. Not worthy of a god, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a scam,
Meanwhile,
buddy.
Neptune, as you all know, is
Neptune,
the king of
that's
the
his
seas,
name.
living in the royal city Atlantis. Neptune is also 5,000 years old, as we all see
5,000?
later in the Battle of the Triton.
Talk about bro. That's Gramps. That's more than Gramps, bro. That's fucking BC Gramps.
So he's not really aging. Indeed, he also possesses a power worthy of a god, capable of making miracles simply by pointing his finger at something. So if anyone's capable of creating a storm, it's him.
Yeah, it'd definitely be him.
There's also a problem with that theory. There is no story or lore suggesting that Neptune was mad at the people of Bikini Bottom in the slightest. Then again, if he truly wanted worship...
He could be mad about his family stuff, though. You never know.
Wouldn't he just show up and demand it? Instead, the wind comes, and it never stops. Even 3,000 years later, the storm is still howling, long after SpongeBob, the jellyfish, and everyone else is gone.
That's what I'm saying. It was going on for so long.
The only reason I could think of was that this was just two gods having a quarrel with one another.
Oh,
just like
that's
Greek
true.
gods would do. Their fights often led to suffering.
Yeah, because if two gods are having a fight at the same time, in theory, that would cause a great storm. And that would be the only explanation for a storm lasting fucking 3,000 years.
For their own people. But that's kind of dragging it too far. The show doesn't even lean into Greek mythology that
It doesn't,
much.
but...
Aside from using characters like Neptune and Atlantis, they never really mentioned anything else. Which leads to one more terrifying question. If Neptune's not responsible,
then who is?
Poseidon doesn't care, then who or what is this? But beyond myth and beyond farewell letters, there's a much more personal reading. This could be a depiction of SpongeBob's descent into artistic obsession. The way he treats the statues,
that could be true.
How precise he is, how he talks to them, has tea with them. It's not only tragic, it's also unsettling.
Yeah. He's like all alone doing this, completely isolated with an obsession with this. So that could be, there's so many messages you can take from this episode now that I think about it.
Building out of joy, he's building because he has to. This isn't passion, it's compulsion. And it's not the first time SpongeBob's done this.
That's a great word for it.
There's a blueprint for this breakdown hidden in an older episode, The Sponge Who Could Fly. In that episode, SpongeBob dreams of joining the jellyfish in the sky. He spends the whole episode trying, failing, being humiliated, until he finally succeeds. And the town? They hate him for it. They mock him, they turn on him. They only like him again when he crashes and gives up. And then comes the line, a single sentence that hits way harder in hindsight. They hated me when I was trying, but they loved me when I failed.
Oh my God, that's so facts.
An artist who dares to do something different and gets exiled for it. So he hides and creates alone.
Damn.
Not for applause, for meaning. And when he returns,
bro, I could literally go on a tangent about this right now, but basically that is so true, bro. Like, people literally will hate when you're trying for something and stuff, especially when you're not like immediately successful, and they don't like get your vision, bro. And if you have a vision, you keep going. The bad thing about that, bro, is that it can drive people crazy. Like, for example, SpongeBob in this episode, it drove him crazy. It made him isolate and stuff, and made him just, you know, spend all of his time doing that and kind of not use that energy the correct way. But he could have used the energy the correct way and just kept doing what he was doing, no matter what people say. And then now you're at the top and they have to respect you and stuff, and you don't have to respect them because they didn't respect you at first. You just live your life regardless, you know what I'm saying? So just like in real life, bro, there's gonna be people that doubt you and stuff. There's always people that don't understand the vision, you know, what you got for yourself. Everybody's their own person. Everybody got their own goals, their own dreams and stuff, and you can't let people like bring you down, because most people, they're really, you know, envious and kind of jealous of people's lives. They're even jealous that you have the drive to even try to do something different than everybody else, you know? Try to do something good for yourself. It's deep rooted in people to honestly be negative, to be hateful and stuff. So you gotta, like, you know, drive yourself to keep going and keep being better and keep getting better every single day, and you're gonna reach your goals, bro. Fuck what anybody else says, bro. Fuck what they judge you by, what they say. As long as you try to be a good person and try to improve at what you want to do every single day, you're always gonna be on the right path.
The world has moved on.
That's a fact.
That's the real horror of Spongehenge. Not the wind, not the jellyfish, but the idea that SpongeBob gave everything to his art and it didn't save him. It just replaced him. You see, after analyzing all those theories, maybe none of the theories are technically correct, but that's kind of the point. Spongehenge was a phenomenon because it didn't explain enough. It leaves just enough space for you to stare into the void and project whatever you want. Artistic madness, religious symbolism, mid-2000s existential dread, pick your poison.
But I mean, to be honest, it could be a mix of everything if you think about it.
You still watch modern SpongeBob to this day, suddenly it clicks. What if these theories aren't competing ideas, but steps in a larger story? The joke that never lands, the goodbye disguised as nonsense, the godless world where no one is listening, the obsession with art. They all build toward one final idea, the one that ties it all together. That Spongehenge isn't trying to explain the lore behind, it's a prophecy to the future. One cryptic love letter from a land beyond the grave. The last gasp of the original team before they vanished into the corporate wind tunnel. After the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which creator Steven Hillenburg always intended to be the grand finale, most of the original crew dipped, Hillenburg included. He didn't want SpongeBob to be...
How is SpongeBob nowadays? Does anybody still watch SpongeBob right now? Like, did it change? The team changed, the voice actors and stuff? Because this guy keeps mentioning like corporate things, so I'm like really worried if that means that, you know what I'm saying, like the show takes a completely different turn nowadays.
Just another endless franchise. He wanted it to end while it still meant something. But the fans, us, we couldn't let it go. He became a global icon, a marketing tool, a Halloween costume, a meme generator. We don't want SpongeBob to die. We kept demanding more, and so the network obliged. They kept SpongeBob.
I think SpongeBob will literally never die. Like, deadass. Like, even if it were to end, I think it literally has immortality when it comes to like the cartoon, you know, the cartoons of all time, bro. Like, no, like nothing could really decapitate, but I guess its own self, its own team and stuff. But even still, bro, like just the OG SpongeBob would just never die.
Bob alive.
But I'm also biased, so.
But was it really alive? Or was it just a replica? A hollow version of what it used to be? Sounds familiar? That's Spongehenge. It's not just a weird episode, it's a prophecy. A parody of what SpongeBob would become after the original creator is no longer with us.
Wow.
And the wind? Loud, chaotic, never-ending? Is fame. It comes out of nowhere. It makes music, it draws a crowd.
Damn, imagine if they were trying to symbolize something, like, because they knew they were about to switch teams or something, and like this was their way of saying that shit's gonna be ass now.
It starts, you can't make it stop. It turns you into something else, something people want you to be. Suddenly, SpongeBob isn't SpongeBob anymore, he's a mascot. His friends turn on him, not because they hate him, because they don't recognize him. So he runs, he hides, and alone in a cave, he sculpts. Not to be loved, just to be remembered. Like an artist pouring everything into a final piece no one asked for. A long and painful process to make a legacy worth being remembered. And the statues, they're not tributes.
I never thought about it like that. Like, artists really pretty much captivate their life stories in their paintings and their drawings and stuff, bro. And we can always look back at that, and that's like their legacy.
They're warnings to us, the fans, that one day you'll be cheering for something bigger, louder, and not the real ones. The statues don't complain, they don't change, they just stand there and look like SpongeBob. Just like the modern episodes. More episodes came, more SpongeBobs, but they weren't him. They were replicas, polished, heartless, made from stone. No feelings, no weirdness, just content.
Is that how it feels really with the future episodes, bro? Now I have to watch the new SpongeBob to really see.
And in that final shot, SpongeBob stands in front of it all. A man out of time, replaced by statues, performing to a crowd that isn't listening. And maybe this episode is saying, one day, far into the future, there will still be a SpongeBob, but it won't feel like SpongeBob. It will be something that tries to look like him, tries to sound like him, but the soul is gone. And some future kid will look at the screen and ask, what is this? What is this supposed to be? How did it even get here in the first place? But hey, at least the stone was entertaining to the end.
Yeah, if a kid asked me what's SpongeBob, I might have to send you to the adoption.
So maybe Spongehenge wasn't nonsense after all. Maybe it was the original team's final message, a whisper buried in the wind, a warning about fame, a goodbye to the fans, and a time capsule for what the show used to be before it got lost in its own echo. And the sad part is, we're the ones who changed him. Just like Patrick, who will most likely change if he never met SpongeBob. We'll talk.
All right, Patrick will never have a suit on, bro. He never even has a shirt on.
Talk about that next time. See you there.
Yo, leave me your thoughts in the comments, bro, on your thoughts on each theory. Which theory is the most accurate, do you think, to the episode that we watched? I love you guys, bro. Thank you guys for supporting. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.